Okay, that's a few people coming through now. Right, okay, that's us. We will make a start. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming along to today's postgraduate information session. This one is on from our Student Disability and Wellbeing Service. My name is Marisha Nelany and I am your host today. I work in the recruitment and conversion team here at GCU. Before we begin, just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. All of our guests' microphones and cameras are disabled during the session just to ensure a smooth experience for everyone. If you have any questions at any point, please feel free to pop them into the Q&A box, which is next to the chat box, and we'll answer as many questions as we can at the end of the session. I'd also like to let you know that today's session is being recorded. It will be available on the GCU YouTube page in the coming weeks, so you'll be able to watch it back or share it with others. If you do have any questions today that you don't feel comfortable putting in the chat box, please let us know and we can pop in a wee email address and you can send them in afterwards. Now I'm pleased to introduce you to today's presenters, all from our disability and wellbeing teams across both our London and Glasgow campuses. We've got Patricia Castellano, our disability advisor. We've got Christina Kelly and Meg McDonald, our student wellbeing advisors, and Lisa McCabe from our GCU London wellbeing advisor. So I'm going to hand over to Patricia first of all, and she's going to begin with her presentation. Over to you, Patricia.
Thank you so much. I'm very eager to do this today. We are one of the disability advisors and one of the presenters from you today. So we're going to tell you a bit more about our service, and I think my colleagues are going to introduce themselves when it's their turn to speak with you. So just to kind of tell you how to find us, the Student Wellbeing Service in London and Glasgow campuses. But we wanted to let you know that you can access free confidential advice and support from the Student Wellbeing team. In terms of Glasgow campus, you can find us in room M136 in the George Moore building. So that will be the first floor of the George Moore building past the Campus Life Lounge. And we are around Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So you can drop by. There's be someone around at reception or someone in the team if you have any questions or anything you want to kind of discuss with us. If not, you can also email us at studentwellbeing@gcu.ac.uk and a member of the team will get back to you. If you are based in the London campus, you would also find the service. You can access the service in room 1.8 in Fashion Street, again Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you prefer to send an email, you can email London Wellbeing Advisor at gculondon.ac.uk. As mentioned, there's different teams within the service. So one of those teams will be the disability service, which I'm part of as a disability advisor, but there is also a counselling service, mental health advice service, student wellbeing advice, and then GCU London wellbeing advice. So they're all links, so if you get back when you have access to slides, you can also click on them and you'll be able to find more information about the different teams within the service. I'll tell you a bit more about disability service, and then my colleagues will tell you more about the different other services that are part of the team. When it comes to disability service, we wanted to make sure that all students are aware that we provide individualized and one-on-one support, but our focus is also on providing a general kind of overall inclusive student experience, which offers our students with the opportunity to achieve their full potential, and we do put the emphasis on making sure students have the opportunity to develop their skills, and we also work with other teams around the university to make sure the inclusive provision is available to all students. We also wanted to mention that we provide advice, supported information to disabled students, but also applicants. So if you were interested or had any questions and get in touch with us, you could do that. So you could drop by or send an email if that's easier. Just in terms of numbers, every year around 25% of students disclose a disability. GCU students disclose a disability. Not all those students will need support, but even just for information and advice, you're also welcome to contact us. But the students who normally contact us could be students with long-term medical conditions, sensory impairments, mental ill health, physical impairments, specific learning difficulties such as dyslexia, or students on the autism spectrum. And we also wanted to make sure that students know that you could come, students or applicants could contact us and discuss support adjustments if you have a diagnosis, but also if you are in the process of seeking a diagnosis, or if you want a bit more information. And see, sometimes we can help, not all the time, but we'll try to provide as much information and support as we can. And also really important to remind you that all support is available to postgraduate students as well, not just to undergraduate students. So we left a couple of links as well if you want to know more about the service and how kind of disclosing your needs, and also how to contact the London Wellbeing advisor if you are a London student and would like to discuss adjustments and disclosing your needs and discussing support. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Who's next to present today?
That would be me, so I just realised I was muted. So I'm Christina, I'm one of the Wellbeing advisors. I'm just going to speak to you a little bit about the counselling service and kind of mental health advice that we have at the university. So we've got a free confidential counselling service within the team who offer kind of one a sort of therapeutic space where you can work one-to-one with a counsellor. They offer a block of up to 6 sessions within any academic year, and that's just a confidential space where you can explore whatever is kind of meaningful to you at that time. So thoughts, behaviours, emotions, whatever's going on for you. I guess in the course of someone's studies, you never know what's going to come up for someone. It might be something that you're dealing with in the here and now, or it might be something that's affected you a while back that you've never really had the opportunity to process, and you might feel, coming into your studies that you really want to kind of deal with something before you're potentially going forward and maybe working with vulnerable people within your research. It might be really helpful to process things that you feel might still be on your mind. So that's available as one of our supports, and students tend to feedback really positively that it's been helpful to them just to have that space. Most of the counsellors tend to all work in quite a kind of person-centred way. We do have a counsellor who is trained in cognitive behavioural therapy as well. And I think there's another counsellor who offers counselling in different languages as well. So there's a few different types of counselling, and it can be offered in person or online as well, if whatever kind of makes it more accessible for people. So the way to access counselling is to complete the first appointment form. They'll just gather some details, and then you would be invited to an initial appointment that lasts about 30 minutes, just to look at what kind of things you hope to explore in counselling, what's going on for you, and to find out a wee bit more about the service. So that's not a counselling session, that's just a kind of assessment appointment. And from there, you would be placed on a waiting list and then matched with a counsellor. The waiting list fluctuates throughout the year. That's something we're always asked about. At the moment, I think it's sitting at about 10 weeks, which is quite high. Usually, it's maybe closer to 6 to 8 weeks, but it does vary, and there will be quieter times, maybe during the summer and things like that, where you would be seen even quicker than that. So I'll just tell you a wee bit next about the mental health advisors. Sometimes it's difficult to tease apart what the differences in these supports are. So the mental health advisor's background is in mental health nursing. So their approach is a bit more around kind of practical strategies, coping strategies, how to manage your mental health in the here and now, as opposed to that more in-depth therapeutic exploratory approach. So it's a wee bit more around kind of looking at things like your daily routines, what kind of things maybe aren't working so well for you. Sometimes you kind of know yourself when you're slipping into bad habits, but it can be really helpful to have someone to sit alongside you and help you to recognise that, and also someone to be accountable to if you are maybe creating goals for yourself, to try and kind of work on things and beat the kind of things that tend to trouble us, procrastination and yeah, lots of things that tend to come up for people kind of. So with the mental health advisors, a wee bit more flexible in counselling as well. So as opposed to offering a block of 6 sessions, you can kind of dip in and out of this support throughout your studies. And it's, some students might work with a mental health advisor all throughout the whole time they're here. Others might just see them once or twice and feel that was enough to kind of get them the advice that they need. So again, there's an initial appointment form that you would complete, and then you'd be invited in to begin that support. So I'm just going to pass you on to Meg next to talk about our role in the Student Wellbeing Advisor team.
Thanks, Christina. So my name is Meg McDonald. I'm one of the Student Wellbeing Advisors at GCU in Glasgow. So this slide I will share with my colleague Lisa, who is based in London. But just to give you an overview of the Student Wellbeing Advisor role, is we generally support students through a wide range of personal, practical, and well-being related issues. And our role is to help you feel supported and included during your time at GCU. So one of the key groups that we support is student carers. So a student is considered a carer if they provide unpaid support to a family member, a friend, or a neighbor. Caring responsibilities can look very different from one person to another. So they might involve practical tasks such as cooking, cleaning, or helping someone get to appointments, or emotional support for someone experiencing mental health difficulties or addiction. So we are the named contacts for student carers at GCU. We can work with students to create a care support plan, which helps communicate the caring responsibilities to your program, to your academic department. And this plan can be used to suggest reasonable adjustment support, such as understanding that you might need to miss classes unexpectedly in an emergency, or that you may require extensions on coursework, for example. Another group that we are the named point of contact for are LGBTQIA+ students. So one of the things that we support students with is the process of updating their record at GCU. We can offer one-to-one support, and we can provide guidance to the wider university community through delivering sessions on how to best support LGBTQIA+ students, and we can help connect students with external organizations and resources where needed. Another important aspect of our role is providing advice and signposting around financial and hardship difficulties. So we're very familiar with the internal resources of financial support at GCU, and we can help students explore these options. We are able to refer students to food banks as well as data banks and external sources of support. So students never should feel like they're navigating these things alone. The other aspect of our role is overseeing the Faith and Belief Center. So this is a service that's specific to GCU. We have an area that's a space for students of all faiths and none. It's a multi-purpose space used for prayer, reflection, and events. And we work to ensure that it remains a supportive environment for the diverse GCU community. And yeah, all students are welcome to attend that. So I will hand over to my colleague Lisa just now. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa. I'm the GCU London Wellbeing Advisor. So I work here on our Shoreditch campus supporting our London students. So I'd just like to point out before we continue, so in terms of the services that have been covered already around mental health advice, counselling and disability, I think it's important to note that our London students can access that support remotely. So if you do kind of book an appointment with myself and have an initial kind of wellbeing meeting, if those supports may benefit you on the London campus, I can refer you to those teams as well. And just kind of on the next point around liaising with the academic department on behalf of the student. So the wellbeing service is confidential, but there may be times perhaps where a student may want us to kind of liaise with an academic, your tutor perhaps, to kind of navigate any issues that are impacting your ability to progress and study. So that could maybe be concerns that you have around, completing your coursework or your attendance. So if we do have your permission, we can help kind of facilitate those interactions and help kind of create helpful links within the university. In terms of supporting students who have experienced gender-based violence, so if this kind of occurs, you can reach out to the Wellbeing team to get support and guidance, and we can also help refer you to kind of helpful internal and external supports. And we also have a dedicated gender-based violence advisor who can also offer support and guidance to students and the team overall. And then, as Meg mentioned, we're the initial point of contact for general wellbeing concerns. So we can help signpost to kind of other teams within the university or externally, or make those referrals to the counselling or mental health or disability team, whichever is applicable. So to request an appointment with a student wellbeing advisor, we've got the Glasgow appointment form and the London appointment form, so they're kind of separate there. But you're also welcome to visit the service or email one of the relevant teams.
So back to me to talk about the events. So throughout the academic year, the Wellbeing Service runs a range of events, and we work closely with other departments at the university as well as the Students' Association. So some more regular events are weekly yoga sessions. We've got regular well-being walks, mindfulness sessions, and there's also our very popular Pause Against Stress event around exam times. We deliver a variety of workshops on topics that are very relevant to students that generally our counselors will see very often students facing, such as managing their anxiety, understanding and maintaining healthy relationship boundaries, tackling procrastination and building motivation, as well as we participate in wellbeing fairs and research cafes. Our events program also links in with national campaigns, including Trans Awareness Week, Carers' Rights Day, University Mental Health Day, Black History Month, LGBT History Month. And these partnerships help us to create this inclusive and environment and relevant events to reflect the diverse GCU student community.
Thanks, Meg. That's useful. So we're just going to talk a wee bit about some kind of resources, kind of self-directed resources that you can access. So the first grouping of there is kind of like online resources and things like that. And then the second part is kind of out of hours resources. So with us being a Monday to Friday 9 till 5 service, it's useful for us to be able to direct you to other sources of support that are available out with those times. We're not suggesting any of these self-directed resources are a replacement for the support that you would access in person, more of a kind of complementary resource that can be accessed in your own time. So on our webpage, we've got a list of kind of self-directed resources, kind of big A to Z list of lots of things that might help with different conditions or different areas that you might be struggling with. So lots of good resources there, and you'll find some of these resources will be listed on there as well, but I've just kind of put them here too, just to make it clear. So Relax and Renew is an area within the library at GCU, so it's on the ground floor. So the library at GCU is maybe a wee bit different to some other sort of more academic libraries. It's kind of the ground floor is quite a social space. It's got a cafe in it, and it's got a little area with lots of really nice books around kind of student wellbeing and looking after yourself. It's also got kind of fiction books as well and books for children. So it wants to be a kind of seeks to be a kind of public library where anybody can come in and visit and just kind of enjoy the space. So it's kind of welcoming to all members of the community. So yeah, it's lots of really lovely books there and lots of good things around kind of staying on track with your studies and looking after yourself throughout. So that's a nice space to be in. And there's also, you can access a lot of those resources electronically. And I think the electronic collection includes things like podcasts and other resources as well. Togetherall is a kind of 24/7 online wellbeing community that you can access. So it's kind of peer support network where you can go on and sort of chat about what's going on for you and maybe link with other people. But it is monitored and it's a safe space. I know sometimes with online communities there's a bit of a worry around things potentially escalating, or if there isn't anyone to kind of monitor it, that people might begin speaking about things in an unsafe way. So it is well managed, and if someone discloses any kind of risk or anything like that, then that would potentially be flagged to us to check in with the person. So yeah, people's kind of wellbeing is managed within that space. And because I think this session is aimed at postgraduate research students, I wanted to highlight this as a really good external resource called the Wellbeing Thesis. So it kind of dispels a lot of myths around being a postgrad research student. I think sometimes there's a lot of worry that going into doing that kind of study has got to be really stressful. If you're not stressed, you're not doing it properly. There's this kind of worry that's going to be really intense, and it doesn't have to be that way. It kind of talks you through ways to just manage it and kind of look after yourself and kind of keeping connected with people, and lots of really great tips on there just around kind of managing that, without kind of freaking out too much, I suppose. And then this wee resource here is something we often direct students to. So that Mind is the kind of third sector charity organisation, and they've created this resource around how to talk to your GP about your mental health. So there's a limit to what a service like ours can support students with. Our role is to support you with your mental health, to help you to engage with your studies. But obviously, if things were a wee bit more challenging and you felt like you wanted to explore a diagnostic pathway or look at medication, or if you were really worried that you didn't feel safe, we would encourage you to speak to your GP. And this is a really good resource for helping you to have that conversation and know what might come up in a conversation like that as well, to help you to prepare for it. And then, just a wee list of kind of external resources there that you can contact out with our officers. I don't know if there's anything, Lisa, you want to add from a London perspective, or if that's kind of, I think they're all much the same, aren't they? Maybe some slight difference in the phone numbers, but...
Yeah, I would just say that the breathing space is Glasgow space, or Glasgow based, but London students can access the other services.
Oh, thank you. And then what's our next slide? It's that's the final slide. So it's just thank you for listening, and see if anyone has any questions. Oh, I missed one, I think. We've got a little key messages slide there as well. Sorry, I missed that wee one. So just kind of reminding you that we are a confidential service and won't share information without your consent, and that disclosing your needs won't impact negatively on your studies in any way. It'll just help you to access the support. And if you're not sure what you need, feel free to just get in touch. That's part of the kind of wellbeing advisor role, really, is just to be a really general point of contact that you can get in touch with any time to ask, and we'll help you figure out and direct you to the right people. I don't know if anybody wants to add anything to that wee bit. I think Patricia was maybe supposed to do that bit, but I just kept talking. So we just go on to the questions part.
Thanks so much to everyone. That was a really interesting and insightful presentation, and hopefully our guests today will have heard information that they were looking to find out. We do have more information on our website, and I'll pop a link to that into the chat so you can access that too. So on to the Q&A section of our session today. If you can pop any questions that you have into the Q&A box, we'll get through as many as we can. And as always, if you do not feel comfortable popping your question into the chat, we won't read out names. You can always get in touch via the website, and there's a link on there, and I'll just pop that in the chat box just now. And we'll just give it a couple of minutes to see if we get any questions coming in. That's a link to our website there. It looks like there are a couple of people typing, so we'll just give it a wee second there. No, I don't think we're going to get any coming through. Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody, for coming along to our session today. That brings us to the end. I'd like to thank all of our presenters again for their time and expertise. And just a reminder that this session will be available on the GCU YouTube page over the coming weeks if you need to revisit any of the content. Or you, as I say, you can get in touch with us via the website. I hope you found today's session helpful, and we look forward to hopefully welcoming many of you back to GCU for your postgraduate studies. Thanks again and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.